Thank you, Nick. Hi, yes, I'm Dominic, and I'm happy to show you around in my home office here. Well, this is me on this image. I'm about 7 to 8 years old there, and I grew up as a single child from a single mother, and I soon started to realize how dependent we all are on the systems that surround us. But later in life, I got to have a father figure who introduced me into the technical perspective on our globe. And that's probably why I got to be an engineer afterwards. And also, I got access to one of the most well-known unis on our globe called ETH in Zurich. But after some time, I started wondering, why do we all do this? I think we start to develop there some very resource-intensive solutions that maybe are going to develop, are going to be used for a split percentage for our population. And as for me, I came to the conclusion that's not what I want. I want to do something that has the biggest impact possible. But how? I mean, I'm basically this little boy here in Jamaica looking on this wide horizon, and I'm just the only individual here. So how can I do this really? And to my journey until here, I started planning and constructing and deconstruction for photovoltaic systems and start to learn about networks of businesses, how they work together, at least here in Switzerland. Later on, I joined the startup for lithium-ion batteries, where I started to discover the idea might be great, though, but we also have to work together and be strong together as a team. But also simple ideas, controversial to the lithium-ion, can be very attractive. For example, with a farmer who has sold about 60 tons of food waste that wasn't sold because of some visual impurities. Just a great project after all. And for me personally, I really saw the opportunity in the aspect of co-creation or participation. And that's where I landed now, frying pans. I mean, it seemed a bit odd, but let me tell you this. You probably all know it. When you have a pan at home, you're cooking, and at some point it just starts to stick and probably look like one of these. It's just grinded off, and the 20 microns of coatings have been gone. And that's how, in Switzerland alone, there's at least 1 million pans every year that we throw away just because of that exact reason. And if you think of it, a pan is dug out literally out of a mountain. And I can't accept that. So I put down my mission. This is quality and sustainability by recoating everything that you want in your kitchen. But how does that look like in the end? So we collect pans in the biggest quantities possible. Afterwards, we sort out the cheap and defective ones. We repair and recoat them all around and then redistribute them again. As simple as that. And with a slight shift of not throwing it away, but repairing it, we can actually avoid such images here, which is just heaps of scrap metal that actually might still be usable, but because we don't use them intelligently or reuse them, they're going to be thrown away. And to avoid that, we are actually 5 to 20 times more ecological. I mean, where do you have this factor in any other product nowadays? This factor is huge. Just by reusing the base material of a pan at the end of its life cycle. And this idea isn't new. It's successfully used mostly outside of Switzerland, as well as really brand or even model specific. But I'm thinking, well, we don't only recycle Coca-Cola cans, we recycle all of them. So same with the pans. And that's how we came to our offer. We want to offer qualitative products that are systematically sustainable, and we provide as simple as possible and source regionally. That's really what we are aiming for. And our journey so far has been quite steep, I guess. We don't have any investors. We didn't want to, wanted to grow independently. And that we were able to do that about 1.5 years ago, where we started prototyping pretty fast. And we looked into B2C as well as the B2B market to really test and see what are the pains, what are the needs, how could we deliver that? And afterwards, we made a crowdfunding and sold about 400 pans in about 2 months, where we raised some money to continue with it, as well as tested our service model. And during the last 3 months, they were really intense, to be honest. We were up to 16 people, all volunteering. We raised a surprising amount of media attention in journals, podcasts, interviews, or we're actually in a store as well. And we were filing continuously on our first business plan. And the next step are going to be an reevaluation of the whole concept, because on one part, we really are trying to finalize this phase of project to be able to calculate what we achieved and whatnot, as well as I'm going away on the same mission of circular economy in Ghana. But during that time, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to form more partnerships, as well as try to discover a new customer group to be able to externalize distribution and internalize more of the production to get the timing as well as the quality right. All in the end to grow. So our financial forecast is really, this is a foresight, of course, they're never really precise, but I see relatively big potential for relatively low full-time employees despite selling a physical product here. And now we need you. We need the network and we need reach to reach people that want to join us as well as that want to buy from us, because we want to be disruptive within the market, as well as we need seed financing. But before we talk more about money, let's talk about who I am, who this money might end up with. As I mentioned, I was working in some startups before, as well as in constructing and trying to make shareholder work. I like to organize events, I'm consulting, and I will go for an international mission to Ghana. But bottom line is, I'm a doer. I'm an initiator. I always was. And despite these qualities, I would never be able to do this alone. And on this journey that I'm on, there were several people and companies that joined me and believed in me. And in the end, we won prizes as well as got into the media, as I mentioned earlier. And for me personally, this is really a learning ground. In the example of frying pans, it's something really simple that we all know, and I would like to continue with. And just to briefly summarize this, what do we really offer? So, for example, you need a pan. I got you covered. We hand-pick pans and ship them to you. Second is, you have a pan that you really love and you would like to have exactly this model back. No problem, send it to me and I send it back freshly made. Or I think the combination might be right. So you send me yours, we swap it, and it's faster and cheaper and more scalable this way. But here we're really running all of these right now just to see which customers can relate to which model the most. But enough of pans right now. Let's step a bit back for our vision here. I'm really believing in a sustainable circular economy. I believe this aspect of taking a product and making it live as long as possible, designing it new that it lasts as long as possible, is really the way to go for our global economy. And this is where I invest in for people, ideas, as well as companies to be able to strive for this mission. For example, furniture or even whole houses could be looked at in this way. So as for me, really thank you for listening so far. If you have questions afterwards, I'm happy to talk a bit more about SDGs, for example, about the coating itself, about how we see customers or the market. So I'm happy to hear your questions. Thanks a lot.